Northern Fringe Festival acknowledges the traditional owners and custodians of Townsville, the Wulkaruka of Gurrumbilbara and Yumbanan and Bindal people. We pay our respects to their cultures, their ancestors and their elders, past, present and all future generations. My name is Lachlan Welsh and I'm the Festival Coordinator of the Northern Fringe Festival. I welcome you to the first ever Northern Fringe Festival web series. This series aims to educate, empower and inspire the artists and arts organisations from Townsville and the surrounding areas to fully embrace Fringe. We have a long list of successful Fringe artists, producers and administrators presenting throughout this 6-part series. Please enjoy, engage, ask all the questions of the presenters and let's get excited about Fringe.
Townsville, what is going on? My name is Matt Tarrant, magician, mentalist and producer for some of Australia's most successful Fringe performances. What is a Fringe performance? What is a Fringe artist? What is a Fringe festival? That is what I'm here to explain to you today. So let's get straight into it.
Hi, I'm Georgia DeGuara, Director of Yuck Circus.
Hi, I'm Carla Scott and I'm a cast member of Yuck Circus and a Townsville resident.
Yuck is an all-female acrobatic group, so we're circus performers, kicking out in the face, chucking flips up in the air, all about it. We're currently doing this by Zoom because I am interstate and Carla is
Back at home, hanging out, trying to stay fit, keep training.
Yeah, exactly
Hanging
that.
out with the locals.
And I'm waiting for borders to open. Thank you, quarantine.
Well, hello, my name is Matt Hale. I'm a comedy hypnotist based in Western Australia. I do perform all over the world though. And over the last few years, actually, well, probably last, I'm thinking 5 or 6, maybe 7 years, I'm performing at Fringe Festivals, predominantly the Fringe World Festival in Perth, Western Australia, because it's on my home ground, but also most recently as well in Adelaide. And I tend to do it in rather a big scale. It didn't start like that. I originally started quite small, just a couple of shows as a little tester in one festival, and to the point now that I do, I think this year we did about 32 shows in the Fringe World Festival, and then I think 25 shows at the Adelaide Fringe Festival as well. So do it on fairly big scale. I go in for about a 250-seater venue now, and we do manage to sell out a lot. It's taken a while to build it up to that stage, but performing at Fringe has given me these opportunities to build a show.
So first of all, what does it mean to be a Fringe artist? Now, I've been a Fringe artist for 10 years now. In fact, I quit a job working in a bank to become a full-time magician. And the Adelaide Fringe, where I'm from in Adelaide, was the very first big festival I performed at. So basically a Fringe artist is anyone that performs obviously at a Fringe festival. But to become one, you don't really need to do a lot. In fact, pretty much anyone can become a Fringe artist. In fact, I've taught and mentored a bunch of kids from the ages of maybe 12, 13 to become actual Fringe performers. Because to become a Fringe performer, to do a Fringe show, you can truly be absolutely anyone. I had learnt a couple of magic tricks and decided, hey, I want to try to perform that to an audience. So we went out and did shows to just pubs. We didn't even sell tickets. We just did free magic to free shows. And that's where I got my first beginning at a Fringe festival. So to be a Fringe artist, I guess for me, it's kind of a bit of a living now. I travel across the world in Australia, performing at Fringe festivals, now my own solo shows, but also a bunch of other productions. And basically, this is now what I do for a full-time job, just perform my magic to amazing audiences.
What does it mean to be a Fringe artist? What do you reckon, Carla?
For our company, it started off really small and we got to launch a new work to a larger audience and into the rest of the Australian community through a Fringe. Little did we know that it was going to give us so many other opportunities in just that one shot that we got. We were just a bunch of mates who were like, yeah, let's do a show, let's take it on the road for a couple of months and then that'll be it. And then it was just a roller coaster ride of exciting things that just happened after that. So it just took one small fringe for us, and then we've just been overseas now.
Yeah, it's kind of like a low risk way of presenting your work. So it can be a range of anything. Like, we're circus performers, and Carla's traditionally a gymnast, but I've got dancers and, you know, theatre performers and everything in my cohort. But a fringe is a place where you can find work of a multitude of genres, like music, art, visual art, like dance, theatre, circus, cabaret. It's not meant to be elitist. Anyone can come, anyone can go, anyone can be a part of it. And that really appealed to us as young emerging artists.
Question 1, what does it mean to be a fringe artist? Well, to be a fringe artist, it certainly means you are part of something huge, something exciting, something that creates a buzz. And the great thing is, it becomes a part of something bigger than the people who would normally come and see whatever you're trying to perform, because you're part of a wider program. There are going to be people who, yes, they're attracted to you because they're interested in that kind of thing, but also people will be flicking through the program online or in print, and they'll see your little blurb, your little description about your show, and think, do you know what, I'm going to give that a go. And it's quite a big responsibility. You're bringing a show to people who want to be entertained, want to take a chance. So it's up to you to bring your best show that you can. Now, that does take time to build up. And the great thing about being a fringe artist is you can start small and just work your way up bit by bit.
And what are the benefits of performing at a fringe festival? Now, for me, it's really what's kicked off my career. I mean, I've been so lucky since performing at my first Adelaide Fringe. I've now performed there for around 8 or so years now, winning an award every year at the festival. But I've now taken my shows across Australia and also internationally as well as having a bunch of TV and radio opportunities in that time too. And I've taken basically what was once a very, very small idea into a business which can generate hundreds of thousands of dollars in ticket revenue across a couple of months. In fact, in Adelaide, I'm now the highest selling solo act. We sell around 11 or so thousand tickets every Fringe festival. So at about $30 a pop, you can obviously make a fair portion of money as well. Why, though, a Fringe festival? Why not just do that yourself? And for me, the Fringe basically provides you with a platform and an opportunity to band with a bunch of other artists, a bunch of venues, but also it provides you a platform to actually sell tickets for as well. For me, I could probably now, if I wanted to, go out there and do this all myself, but I choose to stay in these Fringe festivals because people know that for a month, in the city that I'm in, there's going to be shows, and they will go through the guide, they'll go on the websites for the Fringe, and they'll find the acts that they want to see, and I just now ensure that I'm trying to be one of those acts. But I guess it also provides you with an opportunity to become one of these acts and to become part of the Fringe family. For me, it very much is a Fringe family. I've now formed a lot of relationships and friendships with a bunch of Fringe festival owners, but also Fringe artists themselves. You know, guys like Hans the German, who's been on Australia's and America's Got Talent, Dom Chambers, who's been on Penn and Teller Fool Us, America's Got Talent. I now produce Dom's show as an example, and 5-6 years ago we just got a beer at the Fringe bar. That's where our friendship blossomed from. So to become a Fringe artist means a lot more than just doing a show. You do truly become part of a community, and the reason that I think the best opportunity to become a performer and to get your kickstart as a performer is to join a Fringe festival.
Fringe as a concept is global. So not only is it, you know, Townsville Fringe or like Northern Arts Festival, there's Fringe in Australia, in Perth, in Adelaide, in Melbourne, in Sydney, but then there's also like all over the globe. So the big ones, big players like Edinburgh Fringe in Scotland, there's Brighton Fringe in London, California, like all over America and Canada. So it's like a circuit. Once you do one, you can then kind of have access to all of them because it's all the same framework. Like you understand how it works and it's accessible for you. So I think that's pretty beneficial, just having access to the world.
Definitely opened the doors for our company. We just went to one Fringe in Perth, and then we were able to go to Adelaide and Edinburgh, and then all of these other places overseas in Europe. They just wanted a piece of us, and we were like just this small company from Western Australia, and we were just like, okay, who do we go to? Like, just It was a bit wild for us, but we were having a great time.
I think that's an important thing as well, is it gives you other opportunities. So you might just be doing the one Fringe, but someone might come to that Fringe, maybe a record label or an agent or a theatre that's outside, or the government booking for a state tour, and you get all the other gigs that then support your career as an artist. You end up touring full time, so that's what happened to us.
Yeah.
It's not just all about like the big players as well, like Edinburgh. We even got the chance to go to Bunbury Fringe, and that was amazing. We had the best time there.
Yeah, it's like a regional Fringe, just like Townsville. It's just south of Perth, and it was mint. It's all about connecting to the community that you're performing in. It's really important.
With so many advantages to being part of a Fringe as opposed to just trying to put a performance on yourself in the midst of nothing, you have a machine behind you which is naturally attracting an audience, and they're looking for stuff. They're actively out there looking for something to attend, and it's up to you to catch their eye. But the great thing is they're looking to go out and experience something already. Plus also you have a massive support from not only the people who are organising the Fringe, they want you to be a success, and will obviously give you as much information and as much of a helping hand as possible, because if you're a success, it helps the whole event be a success. But you're also surrounding yourself with other artists, and you can take so much. You're going to find people who've got the odd little tips and tricks for selling tickets, to just seeing so many artists, being around. You may get other little golden nuggets of performance ideas just from seeing the way someone opens the show, engages with an audience, things you've never thought of before, but could be integral to being a big benefit to your show. So there's so many advantages.
Where has the Fringe taken me? Well, I've been very fortunate that I've been really successful at these Fringe festivals. Adelaide's my home base, and that's now my biggest Fringe. But I do travel across Australia at other festivals, including the Fringe World Festival over in Perth. And I've also travelled across Europe, across Asia. I did a tour in South Africa last year, of all places. And it's all because of my Fringe Festival performances, which is pretty amazing. In fact, as part of what I do, I've been on Australian Survivor a couple of years ago. I've done some stuff with the Got Talents. I've been all across major network productions across Australia as well. And it's all kind of stemmed, I guess, from the Fringe Festival. My very first Fringe, as I said before, I performed basically for free to audiences that had no idea who I was. And my idea was just to get out there and get my face out there. And now if you come to Adelaide during the Fringe Festival, you'll see me on billboards, on buses, on TV ads all over the place. It's a bit embarrassing, but it has gotten quite successful. So it can truly take you anywhere. I mean, the guys I mentioned before, the likes of Hans, he got his beginning at the Adelaide Fringe. But a bunch of other performers, guys like Hugh Sheridan, an incredible actor, also still does the Adelaide Fringe. So it can pretty much get you anywhere, and it's a really good place to get your beginning or to come back at any point.
Where has Fringe taken you? I'll speak a bit more metaphorically to this, where it's taken our tiny company global. Like, we weren't expecting to do anything more than a one-off season. So like 6 shows once, it was fun with our friends. And now we've been touring for like a year and a half, pretty much full time. Like, I don't work any other job but this. And it just took my career, took places I didn't even imagine, and in a time frame that I didn't even imagine. It was a great opportunity. But if you want to talk about where we've actually been, which is really exciting.
So coming from, I say like a small town, but like a small country town, I never thought that I would really go any further overseas than any places that I had. So going to somewhere like Europe, I never thought that I would be able to achieve something like that. But being in the circus industry and being a part of this company has given me the opportunity to go to the UK, and I've been places I never thought I would ever go. We've been to the biggest music festival in the world, which at the time I had no idea even existed. So Glastonbury Music Festival. We went there last year and it was the best experience ever. I've never experienced anything like that.
Alongside Kylie Minogue and
yeah, we were hanging out with our girl Kylie Minogue.
Wu-Tang Clan.
Bit of Lizzo there as well. That was a wild time for us. Just Yeah, so like a small town girl like me going over there to that huge festival and then coming back and then telling people about it, and they were like, oh no, like I've heard about that festival, and I was just very clueless about it.
It's like the same for me. Like I'm from not even regional, from an isolated town in West Australia, and to imagine the scale of what Fringe can do for you, or not even just Fringe, just having a go can do for you, and the open arms of the other end. People want to see new work and want to see new artists and, you know, hear our voices, even if we're from the tiniest towns you can think of. But
Well, Fringe has taken me to so many different places. I mean, obviously geographically to start with, performing at festivals on different sides of the country and all over the country. But if you have a show that is being seen by not only the general public, but also by people who book shows for other events or book shows for other festivals. And so from that, I've been lucky enough to have a lot of opportunities to perform in different cities, at different private events, different corporate events, different theatres, put little tours together, and all off the back of, you know, having a good, polished Fringe show.
So how do you make the jump from doing your home festival, whether it be Adelaide, Perth, Townsville, to then taking that across the world? Well, one of the best things about these Fringe festivals is that quite often they give you an opportunity to perform for other festivals. So in Adelaide, as an example, when the Adelaide Fringe is on, other festivals will come down and visit the city and see acts that they want to take across to their own countries or their own cities. So for me, that's how I got a lot of my gigs. I had people come from all across the world to Adelaide to see my show. So that's a huge help, obviously. You're getting a lot of different eyes. But I think the best thing about starting in your hometown is it gives you an opportunity to build a brand and to build a business and to learn, I guess, the basic ropes of what it takes to become a successful performer and successfully sell tickets. Because I can assure you, if you can do it in your hometown, you can do it anywhere. It's all about learning those basic steps though. So for me, my very first Fringe Festival was all about learning how to build a brand and then how to sell tickets into a show. But I didn't actually make the leap to doing other cities for a couple of years. I really wanted to define who I was and really, I guess, work on my craft, but also work on my business as well. So that's what I did for the first couple of years. I went from doing a free show to a 100-seater, to a 150-seater, to a 300-seater, to now doing 800 or so seats every night. So you definitely learn a lot doing your home city Fringe festivals though. And I think you learn, I guess, what works best for you, what your audience likes, but also, I guess, what helps sell tickets as well. So you will eventually find opportunity will come to you from doing your own home festival. But for me, it's all about, I guess, really perfecting it first and doing a couple of solid years in your home city and then building from there.
how do you make the jump from just doing your home festival? I mean, for you, it is your home festival. You haven't done it yet.
Yeah, well, I was super stoked about it. I heard about it last year, but at the time we didn't get the chance to go because we were overseas in the UK. This is around the time that we were in Belfast in Ireland. Making the jump from your hometown, it just takes that one person to come and see your show, and then it opens up so many other doors for you.
I think also like just I've been able through the experience of the company to perform our show in every single one of my cast members' hometowns. So there's 7 of us. So it's, you know, Adelaide, Fremantle, Perth, Ireland. I was about to have one in Broome, but Old Bank quarantine stopped that happening next year. But I think it's really a gift to even just perform in front of your mates and your community and just show them actually like this is a living, this is something you can do, and it's something that you're really passionate about. I think that's pretty sick to be in a hometown festival.
Well, to make the jump from doing just your own home festival, there's a few things that need to fall into place first of all. First of all, you need to make sure that you are presenting a show that you can make successful in your own area to some extent. I mean, we're all going to measure our success in different ways. It doesn't necessarily have to be ticket sales, but it will also come down to budgeting and costs and planning as well. And these are big skills you need to either learn or employ as you go along your Fringe journey. It's not all about jumping on the stage. In fact, a lot of the time it feels like the jumping on the stage is just a tiny little bit of the whole process. But the whole budgeting of being somewhere different, you're going to need extra promotion. You're not pulling in a group of people who already know you and have friends in that area. So it comes down to being fairly savvy about marketing. Now, you don't have to be a big spender in marketing to make something successful, but you do need to be aware of all the different tips and tricks that you can use, free or paid. And there's a lot of things out there that can help someone who's very, very unknown become very known in a very short space of time. Again, word of mouth is always going to be a big thing. So I always think it's very, very important that your first few shows, you try and create as much buzz as possible, for especially in a Fringe where your costs are higher, because you want to be driving the audiences to be talking about you. So all the later shows are starting to fill with those referrals.
What does it mean for the city of Townsville to have now their own Fringe Festival? Well, I can assure you, from being a very small city in Adelaide, getting our Fringe Festival has been one of the biggest things for our city. It really has. Every year between February and March, our city comes alive. We are a very boring, quiet city for the rest of the year, I guess, is what most people outside of Adelaide would say. But I can assure you, during February, March, the whole city comes alive. The pubs are always pumped, the restaurants are absolutely chockers, and the streets just come alive. And the city truly has, I guess, really just grown to love the festival, because they realise that it just gets people out of their houses and onto the streets and into these beautiful pop-up venues and tents, and venues that perhaps aren't even used for the rest of the year become truly as an electric hub of the arts. Obviously it's a good spot to go see a couple of shows, have a couple of drinks, and celebrate with some friends. And for me, it truly is an opportunity for cities that maybe don't always have a lot going on, to have a huge month and experience some of the world's best acts in their home city.
What does it mean for the city of Townsville to have a Fringe? I think this is something that you should probably talk about, being from Townsville. I think just my 2 cents is to have any sort of community arts festival is amazing. Just to even highlight what you have in your area and the opportunities available to you, and then what can come from that is just, it's what you need. It's what you need.
Yeah. I think the importance of Townsville having a Fringe Festival will just be to open the doors for more regional artists. So I only got the chances that I've had because I moved to a big city like Melbourne, and I studied a degree, and then I met my director and the rest of my company through my director, and then that was how I got my opportunities. So there wasn't really much for me that kind of way in North Queensland. So now that Queensland has this Fringe is super exciting and amazing. So like people who have the same aspirations as I did, they don't have to go as far. They can present the work to their community first, and then they can take it on the road. And that was just something super exciting. And like, I wish I had that opportunity earlier, because I've got so many people in my community who are like, when are you going to bring the show here? And then this year was going to be the year, but next year we're ready.
We're coming for you, Townsville.
Well, for the city of Townsville to have a Fringe, I tell you what, it brings such a big buzz of joy to a city. And it's great because it pulls in people from all over the country and sometimes all over the world. And we get a chance to experience so many different styles of performance, so many different styles of people, so many genres. And like I said, there's the buzz that it causes drives people out to take part, to view things, to go to things they may not ever have thought of going to see in their life. And especially if you have an act which is not that normal, which is normally hard to get off the ground if you were just to try and pop it on yourself. Having a Fringe just gives that opportunity for not only you to be able to present that, but also for an audience who are out there and willing to spend their money on something to be able to find you.
Now, what is my most memorable moment of Fringe Festivals? And honestly, there are so many. It's really, really hard to whittle it down just to one. But I think probably doing my very first night at the Fringe was probably a good one. I did this little show for a couple of magicians, and we went out there to a couple of pubs and performed card tricks for random people that had no idea we were coming. And we ended up doing 3 venues this first night, and we'd probably perform for maybe 6 hours, just non-stop card tricks, magic tricks. And it was pretty much the first time I performed for people that weren't my friends and family. And we got in my car at the end of the night and just went, that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. And it really was still one of my favourite moments of the festival, was just, I guess, seeing the response from the audience. And, in my case, that audience was very small. It was just people having meals or having a couple of drinks with friends, but they got an unexpected moment of magic, I guess. And, that show ended up winning an award that year at the Adelaide Fringe, and I guess that's kind of where I bloom now, my stage show and my tour from, which is it's a pretty amazing thing. So all from one little show, it's gone to what it is now. So there's a lot of Fringe moments that I've had over the years, that's for sure, but that's probably the one that really, really sticks by. So for me, becoming a Fringe artist has been one of the best things that's ever happened to my life. It truly is. But I think also a lot of Adelaide and a lot of South Australia would also say the Fringe is a huge part of their own lives now as well. Whether they're performers, if they're venues, or even if they're just punters going out to see a show, it truly does make our city come alive every single year. And it's a great opportunity for townspeople to have your own Fringe festival, and I can't wait to come out and perform there one year.
What is your most memorable moment of Fringe?
I was going to say Martin Sims Award for us in Perth. That was the biggest top tier award at Perth Fringe that you can win. And us being a little bit clueless, we didn't really know what it was when Georgia got the phone call saying that we were nominated for the award, and we were all like, oh, that's great. What's that? And then so we had to do some Googling of it before we went to the awards show. And then when we took it out, we were just like, oh my God, we've taken out the biggest prize.
It was insane. It was really like a pinnacle for it meant that we could keep going. It really meant a lot to us, and it kind of put our name on the headline of a newspaper of, let's do it. All the other Fringes. Yeah. Why not? Our show's actually got 2 feet on the ground and we'll keep it going. My favourite Fringe moment, or most memorable, there's a whole bunch, but one of the outstanding ones is selling out our first 500-seater in Edinburgh in Scotland. That was hectic.
Yes.
500 people.
500 people to see us.
We were on for a whole month and we did it more than once. It was crazy. Like, it's crazy to think about the amount of people we've performed to, and yeah, what's my life? Cartwheeling for a living. It's a good time. Yeah, it's hard work though. It's hard work. Anyway, that's us. Thanks for tuning in.
See you later.
So my most memorable moment at Fringe actually came earlier this year at Fringe World in Perth. And that's when my wife, who's my producer, my wife's actually my full-time manager. And this is where we've built the show up to such a point that I needed a manager, a producer, and we were able for my wife to actually leave her full-time corporate job to work in this business, which is now us too. And my wife, who comes from a corporate banking background and was inserted into the arts almost by accident, actually took out an award for the best producer of Fringe World out of all the shows that were there this year. It was an incredible moment to have built the show up to such a point that we've got to that nice reward, I suppose.